Yeah.
Doing good,
Lovely.
feeling great.
Pretty great. Good to see all your beautiful faces out there. Hello.
Guys, please give it up for the cast of Terrifier 2! You guys have had a hell of a year. So, how did the response to Terrifier 2 take you? Were you expecting what you got? Oh,
To be honest, I had faith in Terrifier 2 from the beginning because I was already a huge fan of the first movie. But it couldn't have been done without the fans. Art the Clown Appreciation Society is here. Shout out to them.
Woo!
But it's been a very, very wonderful ride, and especially working with these beautiful people.
I didn't know much about the first Terrifier when I got cast. I was told about it by people that I knew on production prior to being cast, and they were saying, you know, your life is going to change when this movie comes out. And I was like, okay, like how much could it really change? But it was a lot more than I expected, for sure. Like, even being such a minor role in the film and still having such a great turnout has been so incredible, and y'all are the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't watch the first Terrifier when I was actually cast in Terrifier 2, and that was a mistake. I should have known what I was getting into. But I had no concept that my life would change in the way that it did, and I get to work with wonderful people. I get to meet wonderful people. I think we're all just having a blast. We're just really fortunate to be here.
because it went from being like a small indie horror film to Terrifier 2 hit the box office hard. Like, it was a really big hit for the budget you made it for, and it was mainstream. Like, it was everywhere. People, like celebrities going as Art the Clown. That's got to have been surreal for a film that you shot in lockdown, essentially.
Well, we didn't shoot it in lockdown, but I don't know if you kept working after lockdown, but the Clown Cafe scene was the last scene they were able to shoot before the lockdown started. So the day that I drove, I think you guys had like a day or two left, but the day that I drove back to the city, New York City, that was when the lockdown started, and it delayed so much because they still had about like 2 weeks left of like pickup shots and things like that. But it did get me another role in the film because I wasn't originally supposed to be the nurse, and in lockdown, Damien was like, actually, it would kind of make sense if you were this character. So I got to come back and work 4 more days because of that. So that was good for me.
And you got to work with Chris Jericho?
Yeah, and that was sick. That was really fun. I got to see him wrestle this year too, which was cool.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
which is fun.
Did he win?
No, he did
No.
not win. But it's all scripted, right? So like right?
Is
No, wrestling's real, right?
Is wrestling fake?
Wait a second.
Oh no, did I just
It's
not
still
real
to me.
And that's when Chris Jericho comes out and does like a suplex.
I don't fancy getting beat up once again on stage at For the Love of Horror. Lauren, your character was almost instantly described as like horror's new icon, the new final girl. How has that been for you? Has that been like weird pressure, or are you just enjoying it, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I am a horror fan. I love horror. I grew up on horror, and I grew up watching really strong, powerful, amazing final girls. I really feel like I was raised by them, like Laurie Strode, Sydney, even Mia Allen and Evil Dead. I know we have some Evil Dead people here. I am so grateful to have the title. I don't know necessarily if there's pressure, but I think it's more excitement that I feel. Maybe there are nerves, but I think it is more excitement, and maybe it's translating as nerves. I just hope I can make people proud when they watch, people who are horror fans, because that's what horror did for me growing up. So I'm really grateful to be a final girl.
Sienna as a character was... I don't know what I expected, to be honest. Obviously, the poster was art with your character with the angel costume and the wings. Obviously, there's a lot of religious symbolism in the film, but where it goes and how it takes you, and you end up covered in blood fighting in a... Oh, wild. We've got tons of... Has everyone got questions for these guys? Throw your hands up. Tim will come and find you. Look at him go.
He's getting his steps in.
Oh, yeah. I went to the world premiere of Terrifier 2 last year at Fright Fest, and the immediate reaction from that first audience to see it was a massive what the...
The audiences have been amazing.
Wow.
Like the cheering, the screaming, the yelling, the crying, the laughing. It's just, we wouldn't be here without y'all, so thank you so much.
Yeah, and every time we do a panel, there's never any seats. Like, it's always full anytime we're doing these, which is so great.
Hello.
Hi guys. Firstly, absolutely love Terrifier 2, as is everyone here. But my question is specifically for Leah. How does it feel to have, in my opinion, one of the biggest earworms in horror history?
Well, I think it was Tim standing next to you before was like, how long is the Clown Cafe song? Like 4 minutes? I was like, dude, it's like a minute long, but you listen to it and then immediately it starts replaying in your head over and over and over again. But I mean, hey, I think that's the sign of a good song if it gets stuck in your head. I wish I could take credit to writing it. I didn't. It was written by John and Al Kaplan. But I keep saying they gotta write like a full like 3.5 minute version of that song. And I get DMs all the time with people like, put the song on Spotify. I'm sorry to tell you that I don't have the power, but I've asked. I've sent your messages along to Damien and to the team. Like, listen, the people want it. You got to put it on Spotify. So hopefully we can get that for you guys soon.
When that scene, when you found out about that scene, was it in the script that you first encountered it, or did Damien go, yo, I've got this idea. It's going to be a dream sequence. You're going to be playing a song. It's going to be like a playground. It's going to be trippy as anything. How did he get that across to you guys?
Okay, the script for that scene is really weird because it's like a 10-minute scene, but I think it's like a page and a half in the script.
It's evolved.
Yeah, like it changed a lot because I know in the script the host's name is Hippie Host. I'm not a hippie. Like, I'm a clown. That's not a hippie. I was like picturing I was gonna be wearing like a flowing skirt and have like
Same,
cool
when I read
70s
it, yeah.
hair. Like, that's what I was picturing. So it became something completely different. The lyrics of the song aren't even in the script, so that I got sent separately. But I remember walking on set, and because at that point I'd seen the first Terrifier, so I walked on set and I was like, this is way too bright to be a Terrifier movie. Like, I was confused by what it was, but the way that it like fits into the movie, I think is really ingenious, and like the way you go back at the end, I think is cool, and I hope that they explore it further in the franchise.
I love the Clown Cafe scene. I know it's divisive. A lot of people either love it or hate it. I personally love it. I think it's such a nice juxtaposition of the grim goriness of the rest of the film. It's just bright and in your face and campy, and I love that. But like most of the things in the script, it absolutely evolved. It went from something very small to elaborate, and it just kept evolving with everyone's hard work.
It's quite David Lynch in a way. It's like it's very surreal and loads of like not on the nose symbolism, but it's there if you know where to look. Filming that, did he give you direction, or was it like just you've got freedom to move, so to speak?
It would really depend. Honestly, Damien loved to do so many takes. He would do so many takes. Like the first take, it would be kind of your interpretation of the script. Then he might give you some direction, and then we might do that over and over to make sure that he gets what he wants. And then the last few would be, all right, have fun with it. Improvise, do what you want. So we really had a lot of freedom on set, but especially that scene, it gets compared to Dream Warriors a lot, which we are honored to be compared to that because we love Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, it was a collaborative experience for sure.
I definitely felt that as well, like with Damien specifically. More with the scene that I do at the end than the Clown Cafe, but I felt like he was always like, okay, what do you think, where do you think your character would be entering from? What do you think she was previously doing? Like, he's asking those questions and like getting our input, and I appreciate that rather than just being a director who's literally like dictating, like, this is your mark and this is that and this is how you have to say it. Like, I do feel that freedom. He really allowed us to have that freedom, which was cool.
Damien is just simply an awesome director. He, like they're saying, he is collaborative, but he also has a strong vision at the same time. He knows what he wants, and once he gets that, he's very happy.
Are we just over there? Hello.
Hey guys, hope you're all having fun here.
Amazing.
Which scenes were your favourite to film, and which were the most difficult to film for each of you?
You know, it's funny. The most difficult scene for me is actually one of the most simple things ever you can ever do. It's just simply falling down, and then there's the one scene where I walk downstairs. Because it was icy stairs, and I had to run down when I was running out of the house. And I don't know why, but I actually have trouble falling. I don't. It took like multiple takes, and I felt like, oh man, I feel like I'm failing right now. I'm like, is that good? Is that good? Is that good? Am I doing good? And did you ask, was the other scene that was fun to film or easy to film? Yes? Okay. I honestly loved the entire experience, just in general. I loved working with the whole cast and crew. Damien is a fantastic director. Being on screen with my big sis for a lot of the time, very, very fun. She's an incredible actress. Unfortunately, I didn't get to film with you. But yes, until we started doing horror cons. But the whole cast and crew, everything, it was such a joy to be on set, and I cannot wait to be on the set of Terrifier 3. That's going to be awesome.
For me, the Clown Cafe scene was actually way easier than the asylum scene for the post credits. Because that one had so many moving parts, the Clown Cafe. My days wrapped really early, so there were many. It was like a week and a half, a week. I don't know how much we filmed, and some days I was like done by noon, so I would just kind of come and hang and help out if they needed me. The nurse scene was hard for me because originally I had like a hand prosthetic and there was blood effects. So in what made it into the film, none of the blood effects made it in. But I had never ever worked with blood before. So it was my first time. We were in a very cold, it wasn't an abandoned hospital. This particular wing wasn't used, but I didn't realize how cold it was, how sticky it was, and I just like felt like I was doing a really bad job. But it didn't make it into the film, so maybe I was doing a bad job. No, I'm just kidding. They had to change it for another reason. It wasn't me. It definitely wasn't me.
It was not you.
It wasn't me.
So my favorite scene to film was the final scene where, spoiler, sorry everyone, where Sienna chops off Art's head, because all of that was improvised. There's nothing in the script that says she does a primal scream. It doesn't say anything. That was my first take. It was just what I was feeling in the moment. And Damien loved it. And he said, let's do it again, once more for safety. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to yell again. Let me do it. And that was my favorite thing. It was really empowering. I loved doing that scene. My least favorite thing was just wearing the costume. Hated it. It was terrible. Don't recommend it. It's really rigid. It gave me blisters and bruises. And it looks very cool. And I'm happy that people like to see it. But I don't recommend wearing it. Just avoid.
It is an awesome costume. It
is very cool looking.
Very, very cool.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to the UK.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, were you prepared for that much blood? And like, how long did that take to get out?
Luckily, I didn't get bloodied up as much as some of the others. Jonathan got very, very lucky. But for the little simple stuff, like where I would have like a scrape on my face or whatever, I actually loved it. I really loved it. I liked seeing the prosthetics on my face. I was like, wow, that's cool. Because I'm a special effects nerd too, and I feel like the way that Damien does it, the practical effects, I think he's an absolute genius. But I also have very great memories going home. Like, we did a lot of the Fright Factory, and that's when I had the stuff. My final day at the Fright Factory, went home, and I looked in the mirror. I still kept the thing on. I'm like, wow, I forgot that I had that on. And I ripped it off. It was like really like sticky and gooey to my face, but I loved it for some reason. I think it's having fake blood on you for a horror film is one of the best things you can ask for as a horror nerd.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's sticky, it's cold. As I said, none of my blood effects made it into the film, but check back for Terrifier 3, because I might be getting bloody in that one. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, the blood is very sticky and uncomfortable. And it would take a while, even just little scratches take a while, like Damien slowly putting it on. And Damien did it all. So he had to come early and do it, and also do Art's makeup. And also taking it off at the end of the night took hours. Like, they had to like tag team. Damien would be falling asleep taking it off at the end of the night. But I will tell you a quick fun story. Well, it's not very fun. But we were on set for like 20 hours at this point, and they were like, all right, it's time to I'm wearing the costume, and one of the producers is like, it's time to get Lauren bloodied and muddied up and hosed down. This is February in Philadelphia. It's freezing. There is no heat. And the makeup artist was like, are you sure? Like, are we going right away? Because I don't want her to get pneumonia. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. So I get in the shower. They put water on me, they put blood on me, they put mud on me, and I come out like, okay, she's ready. He's like, oh, we're actually gonna break for dinner. I was like, great, love this. So I was just sitting there, bloodied up and miserable, like, this is great. That wasn't fun. But I mean, it looked very cool, and I would do it again.
I'm going to jump in. I'm not going to ask for too much on Terrifier 3 because I know that I don't want to put you guys in an awkward position. How much of the mythos and the plot has Damien explained to you with regards to your characters going forward? Like, when you were preparing for Terrifier 2, did he give you a roadmap of where Sienna's going to end up, or...?
I didn't get any much of a roadmap other than just the script. I have no clue what's going to happen in Terrifier 3, to be honest with you. I have not gotten the script yet. All I know is I will be in it. But I'm curious, too, because I feel like it's kind of good as an actor to get that stuff when you're actually filming, because it's more fresh in your minds. If I knew it was going to happen for Terrifier 3 during Terrifier 2, by the time I'm starting to film, it might not feel as natural. So I feel like the way that Damien is doing it, kind of just going script by script, I feel like it's the best way, because his art is still a mystery to me, and I'm in Terrifier 2, so I'm very excited as a horror fan to see what happens.
Not in regards to my character. I've gotten a little snippet on like what might be explored in Terrifier 3, but in regards to my character, I'll just repeat anything Damien has said, is that Terrifier 3 will open where Terrifier 2 closed, which was in the asylum, and it will be controversial. That is all I know, and I don't know what that means, so we'll see.
When I was cast in Terrifier 2, Damien and Dave, we all went out to Outback Steakhouse, and we were talking about the character, and Sienna is Damien's favorite character of all time that he's written, so I know roughly what kind of direction she will take. Whether or not I'm in Terrifier 3, I'm not sure yet. I hope so. I'd like to be in it. But we're in negotiating right now, so hopefully it works out.
And it's set at Christmas, apparently?
It is set in Christmas. I think that's safe to say.
It's going to be a bloody Christmas. The best Christmas present you can ask for.
I still haven't seen the promo, the Christmas promo.
Oh, it's on Twitter. You can
It's
find
yeah,
it.
I heard it exists.
It's literally on Twitter.
everywhere.
It's crazy. It's like you can only see it when you see Terrifier 2 in theaters.
And then it's like online.
I went on Twitter the next day. It was
Yeah.
just there. It's cool. Did everyone illegally watch the Terrifier 3 teaser?
Oh, because y'all didn't get it in theaters, right?
We never got it.
Yeah, so you guys couldn't have even seen it. Yeah, I didn't go to the re-release, but then everyone's been telling me it's online, so I'll watch it.
I mean, we got the world premiere, but we didn't get the re-release. We've got a question. Hello.
Hi. So, obviously, Terrifier is like put as one of the most like disturbing and scary movies out there. So I've got to ask, like, what's your favorite like scary movie? I guess.
I like what you did there. What's your favorite scary movie? Scream is definitely one of my favorites, but my all-time favorite has to be the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Thank you. I think it's an incredible movie. The way they just simply film it, it like kind of just makes you feel like you're in the film. And just the fact that it was filmed all the way back then and it was that good and that scary just makes it even more horrifying for me for some reason. But then, of course, I love some classics, even some newer ones like Conjuring 2, I do love. But a lot of the old school classics, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors is one of my favorites, Scream, like I said. How about you?
So I always have two that I will say, which is Hellraiser and Jennifer's Body.
Yes.
But you guys, oh my God, I've told this story like a million times. It's like all I can think about. I really recently, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, saw the first Saw movie forever. I'd never seen any of the Saw movies. I watched this movie. I'm completely blown away. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And in a week and a half, I watched the first 7 Saw movies, which I don't recommend. I was having kidnapping dreams every single night. But those movies are incredible. Like, Saw, the first one, is definitely up there now for me in like the top 5 or top 10. I think that movie's so ingenious. I love the combination of like intense gore with like intense psychological distress. And just like the way that entire franchise builds on itself is incredible. So yeah, Saw's a recent addition to my favorite movie list.
I love your picks and great question. it really depends on the day. It depends on my mood. My very first horror film was Poltergeist. It was one of my mom's favorites, and that sparked my fear of clowns, incidentally. But I love the original Halloween 1978, and I love the Evil Dead franchise. I love every movie, and I love the series as well. So it really depends on my mood. I'm just an overall horror fan.
Did you know the twist in Saw when you watched it? You already knew it.
Okay, so yes and no, because I knew that, oh my God, the actor's name is...
Tobin Bell?
Say that again?
Tobin Bell?
No, not Tobin Bell, but because he's from Lost. He played Ben Linus in Lost. I can't think of his name, but he was the guy in the first Saw movie that you thought was the killer.
Yeah.
And then it turned out he wasn't. So as I was watching, I was like, I feel like if this actor was Jigsaw, I would know that. Like, I just feel like I would know that he was Jigsaw. So I knew there was gonna be something, but when he stood up at the end, I screamed so effing loud. I'm surprised that my neighbors didn't call the cops because I was blown away by every moment of that film, and I think the reason I kept watching them was I was like chasing the high of like watching that first one, and not to say that the other ones didn't give me that. It wasn't the same, but it was. I just think that franchise is so good. I can't wait to watch the last 3 that I haven't seen yet.
The newest one's really good.
I know, that's why
yeah.
I was out to lunch with a friend, and he was like, I feel like this is a franchise you would fall in love with, because he had just seen the 10th one, and so that night I went home and I watched it, and he was correct. It's like all I can think about. It's so good.
I saw, as many people here probably will, I saw the first Saw movie opening weekend in 2004. When he stood up, the cinema
Crowd
was, honestly,
went
it was a cross
wild.
between and what the whole audience, it was visceral,
Incredible. Ugh.
Unbelievable.
So good.
The iconic music with it, like I get chills thinking about it. It's such a
but
good
now
franchise.
It's like you can vibe to that music. Yeah. Oh, it's Jigsaw. Where are we? Next question. Tim is at the back. Hello.
Hi, my name's Lauren as well. So.
Oh my God! Hi.
Yeah. So, Art the Clown is like such an iconic antagonist now, especially since he's not been that like around that long. But he's up there with like Jason and Michael and all the big names. Can you see the Terrifier franchise becoming as like living a life as long as those films have? Like, can we expect a Terrifier X? And if so, like, what do you think will come from that? Do you think we'll see Terrifier in space, for example?
Damon has been pretty vocal about that. He obviously loves Art the Clown. He loves the Terrifier universe. But I also think he doesn't want it to overstay its welcome. So he has a concept for what he wants to do for 3 and 4. If people are like, art in space, he might eventually do it. I think he's open to that. But I do think that he has a clear vision of what he wants, and he knows how it will end. But I think it will. I think with the wonderful audience that we have, I think art and Terrifier in general will be here to stay for years to come. Is my personal opinion.
I agree with that. I think even if it doesn't go past like 4, it'll still have longevity of like rewatching and stuff. But I kind of like the idea of a franchise staying smaller and just it like always being amazing and not having like one that flops like way down the line or something. I would be surprised if Damien did anything past 4, honestly. That would be surprising to me.
I agree with the whole like keeping small, not too many films like they've been saying. But Art the Clown in space, I'm like starting to picture like what type of kills would happen in space, like the blood flying through the gravity. And
Art
stuff.
with the helmet on,
yes,
and then the hat on top of the helmet.
Yeah, like there's someone that's doing a spacewalk and they turn around and they see Art the Clown doing this in like an astronaut gear. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. But it's all in the hands of the great director Damien.
You guys obviously spent a lot of time with Damien and presumably David. Did anyone meet David Howard Thornton last year? I've spoke to David several times over the past 5 years or so. He's genuinely one of the nicest people I've ever met. He is the sweetest human being, but he is freaking evil.
He's such an incredible improvisation actor. He's just always thinking in the mind of the character, and I think what makes Art so playful is Dave's playfulness. If you've ever met him, he's just the funniest guy, and of course he's the sweetest guy, but he's constantly on. He's constantly cracking a joke. He's trying to make you laugh. He's trying to make you have a good time. And I think that's where Art's sense of humor, I mean, you can kind of see the difference between Terrifier with Mike Gianelli. He did fantastic. He's just a bit more grimmer, in my opinion, whereas Dave's art is much more playful, much more animated, and I think that's just a credit to him being a playful and wonderful actor.
And honestly, I think that playfulness that you're talking about adds to the fact because Art the Clown is enjoying killing these people. He's having fun doing it. He's just doing it for himself, which is what Damien always says is like the exact opposite of what a clown usually does. He's trying to make enjoyment for other people, making people laugh. Art the Clown is finding amusement for himself by killing people.
But it is funny, like the difference between Art the Clown and David. Like, I get the question all the time, when you were on set, were you afraid of him? I was like, no, he opens his mouth and he's like a little teddy bear. Like, no. As soon
He's
as
a
he
silly
breaks
little
character,
guy.
yeah,
He's
he's
just
just like silly.
He's just a genuinely sweet guy, isn't he? Just so polite, and then game time, and he's something else. What, the first time I interviewed him, he told me his biggest influence was the guy who played Robbie Rotten in Lazy Town.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Which blew my mind. He said he toured with him on The Grinch. So, did you guys see that on set? Was he improvising? Was there a lot of big mime work, or how was it shooting a scene with him?
Oh, well, I mean, there is a misconception that he was trained as a mime. That's not true. But he is a gifted and trained theater actor. And yes, he was, I think he understudied the gentleman from Lazy Town, and that's where he learned how to encapsulate this kind of big movements in his body. He was, like I said, always on. And there was a lot of collaboration between him and Damien. Damien would be like, try this, try that, and they were constantly playing off of each other because, of course, Damien has a clear vision of what he wants Art the Clown to be. And Dave would just constantly give him options, constantly just doing something different. He never had the same take. And I think that's just a credit to him being a playful and gifted actor.
Excellent. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Just representing ACAS, the Art Crime Repudiation Society, if anybody else is a member. If you're out there. Were you guys ready and prepared for the explosion of fans like myself once Terrifier 2 was released?
No, not. I think we answered this before a little bit, but I had an idea that there would be opportunities to go to conventions. That's sort of like the extent that I knew about it. But then when I found out it was going to be in theaters, I was like, that's the craziest thing ever. And then when it got extended to 6 weeks in theaters, I truly could not believe that. I thought that was insane. That like Howard Stern is talking about it, and all of these big
Stephen
actors.
King.
Yeah, and Stephen King saw it, and like I think that's insane. Like that I didn't expect. I thought I'd have an opportunity to like meet fans at conventions, but I didn't think it was going to be in theaters. I thought that was so crazy.
Stephen King, like to me, that means I'm just gonna quit acting now. See, he
Peak.
that's as good as it gets right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was just talking to Ray, who's a lovely human who worked on the Evil Dead franchise. Go meet him if you haven't. And he asked me the same thing. He was like, what did it feel like? And I still am floored by lines that it's crazy to me that y'all give a shit. I'm so happy that you do. And it's not something that we ever anticipated. And I don't really think that actors, unless of course they're maybe Nepo babies, I don't know, I can't speak for them, but actors who have worked at it for years, I don't think they would ever expect that any of their work really would ever be seen. It's so strange that your work is actually seen sometimes, and like you're perceived and you're like, oh my God, don't look at me. But meeting you guys really makes it worth it because it's just incredible having the conversations that we get to have with you.
Spinning off from that, what's the strangest or most interesting fan interaction that you've had in the last year? Because I know there's people with Sienna tattoos and things like that.
People ask me on dates a lot. I say no, though. so don't ask.
I won't ask that, fine.
Yeah, a lot of dick pics. I don't check my DMs anymore. I'm so sorry if you try to DM me. I used to be very good at it. But like I just gotten a little deterred
A little much, yeah.
by that. My very first convention I was proposed to, and my husband was sitting right next to me. He was cracking up, and I still have the ring. And I didn't officially say yes or no, so I might be proposed to this person.
Just to let you know, I'm an ordained minister. If you want to get married, we can make it happen.
Where is he? Hey.
Listen, she is already married. Too
Listen.
late.
Polyamory, whatever.
It's 2023, guys.
It's 2023. Let's keep an open mind.
I never really had like a strange fan interaction at a convention, but I have a very sweet one that I wanted to mention. Is that I met my girlfriend at a horror con.
No way.
Yes, and fortunately she isn't here because she doesn't have a passport. But that, to me, that's already shown you just a small little smidgen of how much Terrifier has affected my life. That I met the one I love at a horror convention.
I'd like to piggyback off of that. I love Josie, by the way. Josie's his
Josie.
beautiful, wonderful girlfriend. Absolutely. Some of the fan interactions are so heartfelt for the kind of content we've created. A lot of people, say that Terrifier is just torture porn. I get it. It may not be for you. But some of the women, especially, that have come up to me cosplaying as Sienna, shaking and crying and telling me how Sienna gave her strength, there's no words to that. Like, I never know how to react. I think I just hug them 14 times and tell them they're strong, because they are. And I think those are some of the most special interactions I'll never forget, and will always hold it very close to my heart.
I agree with that. Outside of Terrifier, like if anyone knows anything else about my career or follows my content online, but I do a lot of work with queer filmmakers and being a big proponent in queer filmmaking as a queer person myself. And I think that resonates with a lot of people in horror, especially because there are a lot of, it is a very male-dominated space, as are a lot of spaces in film. So I think that when people in that community see that representation, it really means a lot to them. And at one of the conventions, I had a young woman come out to her brother as trans, like with me there. Like, she wanted me to be a part of it because she felt that like I was helping be that motivator.
You were a safe space.
And that, yeah, and that like, I think about that a lot. Like I just really think that was special, and that we can do that for people and like give them that sort of happiness and community through film, I think is really special.
I like that the horror community in general is a fairly open, mixed, and safe space, and it's like what you said there is absolutely something that I think that I personally try and encourage, and to be more open, and I think that's amazing that it happened to you, and it's very emotional. We had Tim Curry here 2 years ago, and I saw a lot of people saying similar things to Tim, and it was beautiful. Obviously, Rocky Horror changed a lot of our lives in a lot of different ways. So it's awesome that you're getting those experiences. It's fantastic.
I think Tim Curry made a lot of us queer.
I would agree with that, yeah. Hello.
Hi, guys. Speaking of moments, similar to Ben, I was there for the first screening, and I think the bedroom scene will just never, ever leave my brain. In terms of moments in films like that for yourselves, was there kind of a pivotal film or a pivotal scene that kind of stayed with you? Maybe horror, maybe not. And as a cheeky second part question, Elliott, would you consider performing as well at the after party, or would you do some UK shows?
Okay. Oh, man. 2 really cool questions. A scene that has always sticked with me. There's this horror movie that's called Devil's Candy. And I think it's absolutely incredible. And it's a simple scene. It isn't like this gruesome kill scene. It's just simply the main actress wakes up, and then the bad guy is sleeping with her, right next to her, in bed. And ever since then, I have not been comfortable waking up. And well, like for like a good like couple of weeks, I had a deep fear of waking up and seeing someone next to me for so long. So that was the first scene that stuck in my mind. And I would love to perform at the after show if you have a guitar, but I do not have a guitar with me. But UK shows, since we're here It's not been officially announced or anything, but I may or may not be doing a UK tour at some point next year. So keep your eye out for that. Nothing is 100% with that though, so that's why I haven't announced it fully. But I definitely plan on doing a UK tour soon because I love playing shows and I love playing music. And thank you for asking that. I really appreciate that.
I am like head empty, no thoughts right now. I'm like, I can't think of anything. I mean, I love horror movies. I'm definitely more of a sci-fi person over horror. Like Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie. I say movie, but it's 3 movies, but to me, it's 1 movie. Literally, like every scene in that, I just think is like so emotional. And for me, when I watch something over and over and over again, and I still have such an intense emotional reaction, I think that is what makes something in like my top 5 like favorite films of all time. So for film, it would be The Lord of the Rings. My favorite TV show is Attack on Titan, which is an anime, and it's kind of like, how good was that ending? So good. Anyway.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet.
I was going to ask. Anyway, we'll talk later. But I mean, back to Saw. I don't think I'm ever going to stop. Like, I'm just still on Saw. Like, that last scene in Saw, I'm just still there. Like, that was incredible.
The first one that comes to mind for me, I don't really know if it would be considered a horror film. It's called Irreversible by Gaspar Noé. If you know, you know. There's a scene done by Monica Bellucci. I mean, she's an incredible actress, and it has scarred me. I've only seen the scene once, and I only intend to see it once. And because of that movie, I can't watch films with assault in it anymore. I just can't. And it makes you think as an artist, is that just good storytelling? Or because it does shed light on things that happen to people, especially women, daily, which is important, but at the same time, it has stuck with me in a way. When I saw it, man, I wanted to kill someone. Like, it was visceral. I was like, I need to find someone and kill them. But it was, yeah, I'm blown away by that type of storytelling, especially when it can be done so authentically, so to make us feel a certain way. And some of the ways are really uncomfortable that we feel, but I also think that's important to feel uncomfortable because it reminds us how to deal with everyday life, if that makes sense.
Great answer. Irreversible, if you haven't seen it, by the way, it's a 1 watch.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
Big one.
Trigger warning.
Big one.
You'll watch it, you'll recommend it, but you'll watch it once. I've never gone, like Martyrs, I've never gone back, I'm done. Yeah. We have got time for 1 more question.
All right. So what were your favorite kills in Terrifier 2?
What were your favorite kills in Terrifier 2?
So, okay, I've got 2. And both are actually like really low-key compared to some of the other kills, but I loved Allie's mom. I know you don't see it on screen, but the reveal of the candy bowl, incredible. Absolutely loved it. My favorite scene in the film was with Brooke and the boy. What's his name? The character's name? I don't remember, but her boyfriend, Jeff. Yeah. That scene in the car is so good. I love the way the 2 of them play off each other. So I gotta say Jeff's kill has to be up there as well, because then the way that scene ends is just really funny. And then Brooke running through the whole thing, I love that.
I think my favorite, oh my God. I mean, it has to be the bedroom scene. It was just top down, even though that's like the obvious answer, it still gets me. That Terrifier was actually one of the few movies to actually get me like that, make that face. Just simply like the noises that Damien puts, the crunches and the that type of stuff, that gets me every single time. So it has to be the bedroom scene.
I would say my favorite is Brooke's scene when she has the acid thrown on her face. Fun fact, I've told it before, I don't know if you know this, the bubbling on her face was condoms. And Damien was on the side blowing into a tube to make it look like her face was bubbling and burning from acid, and I thought that was genius. Like, you really have to be scrappy when you're an artist on a low budget, and I thought that was a really wonderful example of that.
What a brilliant way to bring that to the end. We've had an amazing discussion here for 40 minutes. It's just bubbly condoms. Absolutely incredible. Guys, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and answering our questions.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
so
We love
much.
you.
Thank you.
Leah is singing live in about
Right now?
half an hour.
Half an hour, all right.
20 minutes. Guys, give it up one more time for the cast of Terrifier 2.
Can we get a picture with all of you behind us?